Eagles fans, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Angry Bird Fans Hangout. And I'm your host, Hydro. And we bring you another episode on the upcoming matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. And this is the Week 18 matchup. But before we go into that, I have to send out my prayers and my hopes that Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills gets better, recovers, and that he is able to, function normally after what happened to him during the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals game on Monday. If you don't know, Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest on the field after trying to make a tackle on T. Higgins from the Cincinnati Bengals. He collapsed. They had to do CPR on him on the field to revive him, and then he was transported to the University of Cincinnati's hospital there in Cincinnati, where he is continuing to get treatment. But things are looking hopeful. He is getting better. He is still in critical condition at this point in time when I'm making this episode. He went from being 100% reliant on oxygen, so he is on oxygen right now, but currently he is at 50%, which is a good sign. So, the less he is relying on oxygen and breathing on his own, those are good signs. But he is not out of harm's way, but he is getting better, and I hope that he becomes 100% better and that he is able to hopefully continue his NFL career. But if not, I hope he's able to live a fully healthy life after recovering from this event. As we all know, football is a violent sport. These guys take risk out there every day, and coming from someone who has played the sport, I mean, it is dangerous. I mean, you can easily get injured in any second on the field at the snap of a finger. Some of these guys could have season-ending injuries or even career-ending injuries. So there's something you don't want to see on the field. I mean, you want to see guys get hit hard. You don't want to see guys, playing well, but you don't ever want to see a guy get injured like that during the game. And I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I've seen guys, have concussions, or like probably the worst thing I've seen is guys get paralyzed on the field, and that was horrible. But to see or hear a guy, a player having to be revived on the field after a hit is something that you don't want to see or hear during the game. So my prayers go out to his family and his friends, and I hope to God that he does get better. So let's segue on into our Philadelphia Eagles, into their Week 18 matchup with the New York Giants. This is the second matchup. As you may all know, we faced the New York Giants back in Week 14, and we pretty much demolished them. It was 48-22, and that was our starters versus their starters. But this game is different now. If you'd asked me at the beginning of the season, or even during like preseason, would the Eagles be 13-3 right now at this point? I probably would have said no. At this point, I think when I did I went down the schedule and I did my predictions for what their record would be this year. I think I had them at 5 losses at this point, and winning this game going into week 18, but possibly losing it because if we had the division wrapped up and already had a spot in the playoffs, then we wouldn't be needing to play our starters. But now it's kind of like took a turn, and I'm not gonna say took a turn for the worse for the Eagles, but it's definitely not in our favor right now, especially if we're trying to win or get the number one seed in the NFC in a first round bye in the playoffs. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, before Jalen Hurts got injured, we probably would have been sitting here talking about, okay, we need to rest our starters. But now we're at a point where the Giants have clinched the sixth spot in the playoffs for the NFC, and they're at the point where they can rest their starters because they don't have anything to play for. It's not like if they win this game, they're going to move up to the fifth seed or anything. It's like if they win or lose, they still at the sixth spot. But for us, if we lose, we go from being the number one seed to being possibly the fifth seed in the NFC. That means that we're going to be going on the road playing, we're going to be playing one extra playoff game, and everything's going to be on the road. And I mean, having home field advantage, like I said before in my prior episodes, is important, but that doesn't guarantee you a win. But still, it's better for you to be able to stay at home, get that extra week, that extra bye, to rest your players so everybody can come out healthy. And the injury bug has kind of bit us in the butt at the wrong time. But let's go into our injuries, because we have been probably the most healthy team in the NFL up until this point. Like, we had the lowest percentage of starters missing games compared to any other teams in the NFL. But we've been suffering from injuries, so it's not like we haven't been already hit with the injury bug. It's just now we're hit. We're having more like key players get hit with injuries than we did before. But we lost Derek Barnett the first week of the season, and that's a big loss to our defense because he's basically a starting defensive end, but he was being, we work a rotation on our defensive line, so losing him kind of, took a person that could impact the game away from our rotation, so that hurt us. But we ended up before the trade deadline, getting Rodney Quinn from Chicago Bears to kind of fill that void. But he also got hurt during the season with a knee injury. But now his practice window has been activated, so it's a good possibility that he might be playing in this game against the New York Giants, in which, I mean, we do need him, especially if Josh Sweat doesn't play due to his injury. And yes, Josh Sweat got injured in the game last week against the Saints, so he is day to day. But if he's not ready to go, I wouldn't play him. I would save him, get him ready for the playoffs. Just if Rodney Quinn can come in, if he goes out there and he practices and he doesn't, look still favor that knee, and he doesn't appear to be injured, like, I would put him into the rotation to kind of help out with Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick. Who else do we have out there? Patrick Johnson. But I mean, Josh Sweat is going to be missed on that line. But I think Rodney Quinn can come in, not have the quite same impact because he hasn't been impactful since we got him in the trade. But he can help rest these guys, because even without Josh Sweat last week, we had 7 sacks. So, I mean, needless to say, if you was able to give somebody like Brandon Graham, more rest, then he'll be able to go out there and perform a lot better. So another injury that we had, and a lot of our injuries have come on defense, really, was we had Avonte Maddox and Charlie Garner Johnson. So CJGJ got hurt, and then Avonte Maddox got hurt. So those two guys we've been missing on our defense pretty much throughout the middle of the season. We haven't had them there, and our defense still has been playing good. But has there been a drop off because those guys have been out of the have been out of the lineup? Yes, but now the window has opened for CJGJ to come back and practice. So now we're getting him back. We're starting to get these players back that have been injured just in time for the playoffs. So with CJGJ coming back, I think that elevates our coverage. That makes our coverage better in our secondary, especially in the middle of the field. And of course, he was the leader in interceptions at the time he was hurt. I don't think he's the leader now, but I think he still might be up there, even with him missing these games. So that tells you what kind of impact he has on our defense. Avonte Maddox, he got hurt during the middle of the season, came back, and then he got hurt again in the Dallas game with a toe injury. They were saying that he probably wasn't going to be able to come back at all, but now there have been updates saying that he could be back in time for some playoff games. So that is great news for our defense. On offense, we had Dallas Goedert get hurt, and he got hurt during that Commanders game, during the face mask, of course. Everybody remembers that. And we finally got him back. And even without him being in the offense, we were still averaging almost over 35 points a game. But now we got him back. Even though with him coming back, we still lost our last two games. But of course, that's because we are without the MVP of the NFL and the MVP of our team, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is by far probably the biggest injury we have on this team. And that has shown these last two games that without him being the leader and the quarterback on this team just looks different. The offense looks different. It's not as explosive as it usually is. And shoot, during the Saints game, it looked like almost a high school offense out there, the way they were operating. But with him being out there, it just opens up a lot more for the offense. It also gives the defense probably a little bit more confidence in that, hey, if we could throw a lot more stuff at this offense, stop them. If not, oh well, we have the offense that can come back and score right away. So it's kind of, like I said, this team, they kind of like the offense and the defense kind of mesh together. If one isn't doing well, the other one can pick up the slack. So it's like it's a confidence that they have in each other, and with Jalen Hurts not being in there, that you can see that confidence is not there anymore. But now, it's a possibility that Jalen Hurts will be playing in this game against the Giants, and I will have to say, this is a must-win game. So let's go. So now we just covered the injuries and the people coming back. Let's go into the preview of this game now. So this game is important because if we win it, we get a number 1 seed and we get the first round bye and home field advantage. If not, it's a possibility that like the Cowboys will get the number 1 seed, the 49ers. It just depends on how games play out. And I mean, it really doesn't matter if Dallas Cowboys get it, but I really don't want them to get it. That's why I really want us to have that spot. going into the playoffs. I want us to have that momentum. And if Gardner Minshew has to play this game, I'll tell you what, my confidence level in Gardner Minshew after these last two games is like almost to zero. Like I have zero confidence that he can go in there and beat the Giants, even if they've rest their starters. But if Jalen Hurts plays in this game and we play our starters and the Giants don't play the starters, we should win this game easily. I know it's hard. It's harder to beat a team the second time you play them in a season, but we demolished these guys the first time with their starters. Just imagine what we can do to them with our starters and them not playing their starters. I would even say if they play their starters and we play our starters, we're still going to demolish them. I mean, it's I don't think they're. If we can't beat the Giants, we might as well not go into the postseason. That's all I gotta say. Because the Giants are now a playoff team. They are a playoff team. So if we can't beat the lowest seeded playoff team in the NFC, there's no way we're going to be able to beat anybody else at this point. So this game is very important because we have to go in here with momentum, play a good game. I'm not saying we have to blow the Giants out to gain, our momentum back, but we just need to play a good game, do what we have to do, hit on all cylinders on defense, offense, and special teams because we haven't been playing well in all those areas. Well, the defense played decent against the Saints, at least for one half of football, but we definitely have to go out there and take no holds bar, go in there and just take it to the Giants. We got to go in there as a confident team and show everybody, hey, we are the team to beat. You're going to have to go through us in order to get to the Super Bowl. If not, we're the ones that are going to be in the Super Bowl playing whoever from the AFC. So I just don't think that I really don't think the Giants are going to play all their starters. They might start the game playing their starters just to get them, just kind of like to keep them in the groove of things, to keep that routine of playing, so they won't get rusty going into the postseason, I would say. But they're also going to be, I guess they're going to be kind of reluctant on keeping their starters out there because they're going to be weary of injuries. They can't afford to have anybody get injured like Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley going into the playoffs. They're going to need everybody healthy because honestly, they're not going to make it far in the playoffs, but if they can keep everybody healthy, that gives them a better chance of advancing to the next playoff game or, but I just don't see them doing it in the playoffs. But that's just my opinion. I know Giants fans going to hate me for saying that, but the Giants are not really a good team. I mean, a great team, but I mean, they're a decent team, but they're not a playoff team. They're not going to advance anywhere in the play. They're going to get knocked out, depending on who they play first. So, with all our players coming back, we're kind of like in the conundrum here because we have players getting healthy, but now we might be forced to having to play them on Sunday, in which the game is at 4:25. They and I believe the I want to say the Cowboys game is also at 4:25, but you know how the NFL they like that drama, so they want to see because the Cowboys, if the Eagles lose and the Cowboys win, there's a possibility that the Cowboys are going to be the number one seed, and it also depends on the 49ers, because I think the Cowboys need the 49ers to lose. But if the 49ers win and both the Eagles and the Cowboys lose, the 49ers get the number one seed. If Dallas wins, Eagles and 49ers lose, Dallas gets the number one seed. If the Eagles win, that's it. Doesn't matter. They're going to get the number one seed. But they will also get the number one seed if Dallas loses. I think if Dallas loses, we get the number one seed. And I think we get it over the 49ers, I believe. But I'll, as well as our team is playing and as good as our team is, we shouldn't have to depend on anybody else to get our seeding. We need to go in there and get it ourselves, beat the Giants, and call it a season. And it's weird, like we're the last week of the regular season and we're about to go into the postseason. And as Eagles fans, we're used to be, like, okay, who's gonna lose to help us get into the playoffs? And it's always great to have those extra games in the playoffs. But I think in our minds, if we lose our first playoff game this season, was a disaster. I think the only way it's not a disaster of a season is if we make it to the NFC Championship and just happen to lose there. I don't think the season will be a failure if that happens. But and the way this team is the best team at least in the NFC, and we should make it to the Super Bowl. But that's if we have everybody healthy and we continue to play we've been playing the way we've been playing, minus the last two games, of course. But if we get Jalen Hurts back, this game is won. Because I was gonna do a highlight reactions to the Eagles Saints game, but due to what happened with Damar Hamlin and in that situation, I kind of just wasn't in the mood, didn't feel right doing it, and so I decided not to do one. But I could look at that game and see certain plays and be like, if Jalen was in there, this wouldn't have happened. If Jalen was in there, we would have scored here. If Jalen was in here, we got a first down. He would have hit this receiver. He would have hit that receiver. He would have ran the ball here instead of handing it off. He would not have took a sack here. It was just, you could see, like, it was like night and day seeing Gardner Minshew run this offense and seeing Jalen Hurts. It's a big difference. It's a big drop off. The offense does not look the same at all without Jalen Hurts. With Jalen Hurts in there, this offense is dangerous. He just adds that extra, that extra weapon and versatility that the offense needs. So if Jalen Hurts plays this game against the Giants, I'm confident that we will win. So just let me know. What do you think? Do you think the Eagles can beat the Giants with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, or do we need Jalen Hurts to play at quarterback this week in order to win? I think Jalen Hurts needs to play. I have zero confidence that Gardner Minshew can go out there and get us a victory and lock up this number one seed. I was hoping he could do it against the Saints, but he proved me wrong. So let's go into our fan zone. The fans. Now, this one I got a message from someone. They're not an Eagles fan. So, but they sent me a message, so I just want to play it for you and let you hear what they had to say.
Minshew is overrated, and it's time for the Eagles to start worrying.
All right. That was a message from Ida Nash, of course, saying that Gardner Minshew is pretty much trash. He played horrible, and basically, if he plays this week against the Giants, like we might as well just go ahead and pack up our stuff and get ready to go on a road, because I don't think it's going to happen with him playing quarterback. But thank you for sending me that message. And she's not an Eagles fan, but she does make great rugs. So if you want an Eagles rug made for your den, for your Eagles den, woman cave, man cave, whatever, if you want to just add something to your house that's Eagles, they make great rugs. So you can contact her at the Tufting Couple on Instagram if you want something made. It doesn't have to be for Eagles, but if you just want something made for your home, you know, like a designer type rug or something, an accent rug to make your house look good, you can contact them. Again, is at the Tufting Couple on Instagram. So, with that being said, I look forward to the last game of the regular season. But I'm not gonna lie, if I said I'm not nervous about, you know, what could happen this game. I was hoping that I could just sit back and relax and just enjoy this game, seeing our backups playing. But now we're kind of like forced to have to play our starters because of the importance of this game. I mean, it's not the end of the season if we lose, but it's definitely going to make our playoff run to the Super Bowl a lot more difficult. So, do you think that if the Eagles lose this game, that we could still go on the road and play all the playoff games on the road and make it to the Super Bowl? Just please let me know. Send me a message. Like I said, you can contact me on Twitter at UMCIE. Send me messages there or comments. I usually comment on the Eagles on Twitter, or you can send me a message on Facebook at Angry Birds Fans Hangout. Follow us there and send me a message there. If you want to come on to the podcast, let me know. I'll send you a link, and then you can come on here and we can talk Eagles. But other than that, I'll see y'all the next time. If there's any updates, I'll probably come. If there's any updates, especially if they announce Jalen Hurts as quarterback, I might come out with another episode. But if not, then I'll come out with another episode recapping this game, and hopefully it's going to be a victory Monday when I recap this game. So I just want to thank everybody who's subscribing and listening to the podcast. I appreciate you. And until next time, go Birds, fly Eagles, fly.